Welcome everyone to our list of the greatest warriors ever. These amazing people changed the world with their awesome battles and leadership. From ancient empires to medieval fights, these warriors were super brave, smart, and never gave up. They inspired tons of stories and legends, and what they did still affects us today. Get ready to travel through time and learn about 10 of the greatest warriors ever. First, we have Alexander the Great, a super smart military guy. Born in Pella, Macedonia in 356 BC, Alexander knew about power. His dad, King Philip II, had a strong kingdom, but Alexander, he wanted more. By age 20, he became king and had a powerful army ready to fight. What happened next was amazing. Alexander's army was super strong and conquered the Persian Empire really fast. Imagine the huge battle at the Granicus River, Alexander's first big win against the Persians. Picture the crazy battle of Issus, where he outsmarted the Persian king Darius III. These weren't just wins, they showed how smart and strong a leader he was. He marched his army across huge areas, from Greece to Egypt, Persia, and even India. Think about that, no cars, trains, or planes, and Alexander's empire was almost 2 million square miles. That's like conquering the entire United States twice. But Alexander wasn't just strong, he was also really smart. He knew that real power wasn't just about winning battles, it was about making friends. He learned about local customs, married into the cultures he conquered, and helped different cultures mix. This was super advanced thinking for his time. Alexander's empire didn't last too long after he died, but his impact on the world, huge. He started the Hellenistic period, a cool mix of Greek, Persian, and Egyptian cultures that influenced art, ideas, and buildings for a long time. Pretty impressive for someone who died at only 32. Now let's meet Genghis Khan. Born as Temujin in Mongolia, he went from having nothing to being a super powerful ruler. Imagine living in the tough Mongolian desert where life was hard and tribes fought all the time. That was Genghis Khan's life. But he was amazing at uniting people. He brought all the Mongol tribes together with his smarts and strong personality. He wasn't just a warrior, he was a leader that people really believed in. With the Mongols united, Genghis Khan wanted to conquer the world. His armies were great on horseback and with bows and arrows, and they conquered Asia really fast. Imagine them storming across the Great Wall of China, something no one had done before. Picture the Mongol warriors shooting arrows super accurately. From China to Europe, Genghis Khan's empire was over 9 million square miles, bigger than the Roman Empire. Genghis Khan was tough, and his conquests were sometimes really harsh, but he was also a smart ruler who knew that trade and sharing cultures was important. He started the Silk Road, a huge network of trade routes that connected the East and West for a long time. His empire, the largest connected land empire ever, didn't fall apart after he died. It kept growing under his kids, who continued conquering. Genghis Khan changed Asia, helped cultures mix, and left a legacy that still amazes us today. Now let's go to Rome, where Julius Caesar became really important. Caesar is famous for his political skills, but he was also a military genius like Alexander and Genghis Khan. Imagine the Roman legions, a strong and disciplined army marching across Europe. That was Caesar's work. He made the Roman army even better, training them and making them super loyal. He knew a strong army was key to making Rome more powerful, and he definitely made it more powerful. Caesar's military campaigns, from the Gallic Wars to his fights against Pompey, were legendary. Picture the siege of Alesia, where Caesar's smaller army outsmarted the Gauls, making Rome stronger in Gaul. Think about the Battle of Pharsalus, a super important battle where Caesar beat his rival Pompey and took control of Rome. Caesar wasn't just about strength, he was a master strategist and planner. He wrote about his campaigns, and people still study them in military schools today. His writings show us how he thought, how he understood his enemies, and how he adapted to change. But Caesar's story is also a warning. He wanted too much power and was killed by his own senators. His death caused chaos in Rome and led to the Roman Empire. So we remember Caesar for his military genius, but also as a reminder that even the most powerful people can fall. Let's talk about Hannibal Barca, who scared the mighty Roman Republic. Remember how everyone thought the Roman legions were unbeatable? Well, Hannibal proved them wrong. Born in Carthage, a powerful city in North Africa, Hannibal was taught to hate Rome. His dad, Hamilcar Barca, made him want revenge against the Romans, who had beaten Carthage badly in the First Punic War. Hannibal promised to be Rome's enemy forever, and he kept his promise. He's famous for crossing the Alps with his army during the Second Punic War. Imagine this. Thousands of soldiers, horses, and even elephants marching through dangerous mountains, fighting the Romans and the harsh weather. It was super difficult, but Hannibal did it, surprising the Romans. Then came the battles. Cannae, Trebia, Lake Trasimene. Hannibal totally outsmarted the Romans, beating them badly and making them afraid. His tactics, like surrounding the enemy and his ability to adapt, made him a military genius. For over 10 years, Hannibal dominated Italy, but he couldn't completely defeat Rome. Rome was too strong and never gave up. Finally, Hannibal had to go back to Carthage to defend it against a Roman invasion led by Scipio Africanus. He lost at the Battle of Zama, but his military genius is still remembered. People still study his strategies today. Now let's talk about a warrior whose greatest weapon was his mind. Sun Tzu. He was a Chinese general and philosopher who lived a long time ago. We don't know much about his life, but his ideas about war are super important. His book, The Art of War, is one of the most important books about military strategy ever. It's a timeless book about war that's been studied for centuries. Imagine a book so smart that it's still relevant today. Sun Tzu didn't just see war as fighting. He saw it like a chess game where strategy and tricks were as important as strength. He said the best way to win a war is without fighting at all. He said it's important to know your enemy, know yourself, and choose your battles carefully. He also talked about using tricks, flanking, and using your enemy's weaknesses. His teachings have influenced military thinking for over 2,000 years. From ancient China to modern armies, Sun Tzu's words are still important. His book has been translated into many languages and is still studied today. But the art of war isn't just for military people. Its lessons can be used in business, politics, and even relationships. Sun Tzu's ideas about strategy and understanding your opponent are still important today. Get ready to meet Attila the Hun, a warrior whose name scared everyone. Imagine a huge army of fierce warriors attacking Europe, destroying everything in their path. That was Attila, a powerful leader who represented chaos and destruction. He ruled the Huns, nomadic people known for their horses and archery skills. Under Attila, the Huns became a terrifying force, attacking the Roman empires. From Central Asia, Attila led his warriors on a rampage, his name meaning brutality and destruction. Attila was great at psychological warfare. He knew that fear was a powerful weapon. His reputation as the scourge of God went before him, and just hearing his name scared people. He used this fear to his advantage, getting what he wanted from terrified enemies. He led his warriors in many devastating attacks, destroying cities and leaving a path of destruction. The Battle of the Catalonian Plains, where Attila's forces fought the Romans and Visigoths, was one of the bloodiest battles ever, showing how ruthless Attila was. Even though Attila was eventually stopped, he changed Europe. He helped cause the fall of the Western Roman Empire and helped create medieval Europe. His reign reminded everyone how destructive a united and determined force can be. Now let's talk about Spartacus, a warrior who fought for freedom. Imagine the powerful Roman Republic. Now, picture a slave fighting against his oppressors and challenging Rome. That was Spartacus, a gladiator who became a symbol of hope and resistance. Sold as a slave and forced to fight as a gladiator, Spartacus wanted to be free. He wanted freedom for everyone suffering under Roman rule. In 73 BC, he started a slave revolt that shook the Roman Republic. He rallied his fellow gladiators and they escaped, wanting to be free. Runaway slaves and oppressed people joined them, wanting to escape Roman rule. Spartacus wasn't just a good fighter, he was a great leader who inspired his followers to fight bravely. For 2 years, Spartacus led his army of slaves to victory after victory, embarrassing the Roman legions. Imagine how shocked the Romans were. This wasn't just a slave revolt, it challenged Rome's power. Spartacus's rebellion ended sadly at the Battle of the Salaris River, where his forces were defeated. Spartacus died fighting bravely. Even though his rebellion failed, Spartacus inspired hope for freedom and justice for many years. Richard the Lionheart, king and crusader. Let's go to the Holy Land where Richard the Lionheart made history. Imagine a time of strong religious beliefs when kings and knights from Europe went on crusades to take back the Holy Land. Richard the King of England was like a knight from a story. He was strong, skilled and brave, even if he was sometimes ruthless. He was a great swordsman, a fearless leader, and inspired his followers to be loyal. Richard didn't just fight in the Holy Land. He spent a lot of time defending his lands in France against the French king Philip II. He was great at attacking castles, like when he captured Chateau Gaillard. He also used new tactics, like using crossbowmen, which helped him win battles. Richard's crusades in the Holy Land were full of challenges. He fought Saladin, the powerful Muslim leader. Their battles were legendary, full of respect and hate. Richard's win at the Battle of Arsuf showed his military skills, but he also made peace with Saladin, allowing Christians to visit Jerusalem. Even though he only spent a short time in England during his 10 years as king, Richard I is remembered as a legend. He was brave, chivalrous, and a great military leader, a true warrior king. Saladin, the Sultan, and the Saint. Now let's meet Richard the Lionheart's enemy, Saladin, whose chivalry and military genius earned him respect. Imagine a leader so respected that even his enemies admired him. That was Saladin, the Muslim leader who united the Muslim world and took back Jerusalem. Born into a Kurdish family, Saladin became powerful because he was skilled in both war and politics. He was a devout Muslim, known for being fair, just, and generous. He was a skilled warrior and tactician, but also a man of principle, known for his chivalry and mercy. He rose to power during difficult times in the Middle East. The Crusader states, created by European Christians, threatened Muslim control of the Holy Land. Saladin wanted to unite the Muslim world against the Crusaders. Using diplomacy and military power, he united the often divided Muslim rulers, creating a strong force to fight the Crusaders. Saladin's recapture of Jerusalem in 1187 was a huge moment in the Crusades. He won not through brutality, but through clever strategy. He surrounded Jerusalem, cutting off supplies and waiting for the right moment. Then, he attacked and took back Jerusalem for the Muslims. Unlike the Christian forces who had killed many people in Jerusalem during the First Crusade, Saladin showed mercy. He let the defeated Christians leave safely and allowed Christian religious places to stay open in Jerusalem. His actions, so different from the Crusaders, made him known as an honorable leader. Mamoto Musashi, the sword saint of Japan. Finally, let's go to Japan to meet Mamoto Musashi, a legendary swordsman. Imagine a warrior with two swords, fighting with amazing skill and focus. That was Musashi, a master swordsman, strategist, writer and artist, known as a sword saint in Japan. Musashi lived during a time of war and chaos in Japan. He said he had his first duel at age 13, and he spent his life traveling and fighting. He was a master of using two swords, a style he created. He was undefeated in over 60 duels. His duels weren't just about strength, they were strategic fights where Musashi's understanding of timing and his opponent's mind helped him win. He used unusual tactics, was super fast, and stayed calm under pressure. But Musashi was more than just a swordsman, he was also a philosopher and writer. Later in life, he stopped dueling and started writing. His famous book, The Book of Five Rings, is about swordsmanship, strategy, and philosophy, and people still study it today. In it, he explains his ideas about sword fighting, which are about discipline, self-awareness, and being the best you can be. Musashi's legend still inspires us. He shows us that true mastery isn't just about physical skill, it's also about mental discipline and understanding yourself and your opponent. Legacies of war, lessons for life. These warriors, from conquerors to liberators, from strategists to swordsmen, changed history with their amazing skills and leadership. Their legacies still inspire us and teach us about war and determination. But they also remind us that war is costly and that peace is important. Their stories, full of good and bad times, teach us about leadership, strategy, and what it means to be human. They teach us about courage, discipline, and trying our best. They remind us that even when things are hard, people can do amazing things. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more interesting history videos.